being better when I'm 70. Your drip is just a water spring. You know I drip different, just the 7 seas. I deal with life different, make that lemon squeeze. Ran off with my style and identity. Better bounce back and get the cheddar cheese. I guess that's why they envy me. On track, now we going way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Way up. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. I got his.
Yo, what is up?
Yo.
It's Wednesday. We're here. We appreciate you being here. What's Valerie? What's up? Mr. Frosty's in the building. Hey, y'all, if you have, obviously, if you have comments, if you have questions, hit us in any DM. If you're on Twitter or on X, I should say, just put the comments there. We see them here loud and clear. And we love that you're here. We appreciate you that you're here. It's Wednesday nights, and every Wednesday nights for Board TV, we keep it lit. We keep it loose. I got some new merch on. Hey. Shout out to the Receipt TV. Shout out to the Flip Brim hat. The Brothers Guild over here is actually in the same vicinity.
Want it all off? You just want to be like in the dark.
Yeah, these cats over here are about to be in the dark like me. We're gonna.
No wonder why. Every single time he's just streaming and like.
I feel like I'm lit up. I'm like, this is not my vibe, bro.
No, we're good. We're good. Again, it's the holiday season, so we appreciate everybody being here. Right off the rip, we've got some very, very quick news and important news to get to. Last week, if you were here, we had our good friend, Mr. Dim, coming through after taking down the dub as the metaverse steward. Again, shout out to Mr. Dim there. And then today, as of 5 minutes ago, we officially have our 3 new, well, 2 are new. 1 is returning. Special counsel folks. The votes are in, and in first place was Hazel with 15 million ape. That is a shit ton of ape. Board Ape G returning for a second term, 13 million, and then Hervé 9.1 million. Jason at 6.3 million, and Bouvet, who's been a massive contributor in the DAO already, with a nice 90K. And then we've got Governance Working Group Steward, Big Bull with the big freaking 21 milli ape. Holy cow. So again, not very close at the end of the day. These kind of stayed true throughout, if we're being honest. I kept an eye on it myself. We had 4 other proposals as well, and all of them against. The only one that was for was this formation of steering committee, and the option that was chosen was the free version, basically by the foundation. So not a surprise at all. What's up, Justin? Good to have you here. So again, it is always fun in the ApeCoin DAO. I'll be honest, I've been a little bit bearish on it, to be fair, because it feels like there's a lot of very, very powerful people that are making all the decisions. And that doesn't mean they shouldn't have a lot of power, but we got to figure out a way to make it feel like if you have, 5,000 ape, 10,000 ape, 1,000 ape, that your voice is heard. And some of that, conversation has been through, what about delegations? What if we have delegations? So what if we have, what if the 3 of us came together and we had 25,000 ape instead of, 5,000, 10,000, 15,000, whatever we have, right? Sometimes that can make a bigger push. I also do think sometimes just seeing the outcome can be a little bit daunting. People are like, well, shit, this thing's already decided. Like, what? Like, I got fucking, even if you have 20,000 ape, you might look at it and say, well, shoot, they're up 1 million votes. Like, what's my 20,000 going to do? So there's an interesting discussion that's going to be coming here in 2024. I guarantee it, because it was already being basically talked about today and all of this week as we finished up the election. So any quick takeaways there from ApeCoin? I voted for, full transparency, I voted for Board Ape G to go into a second term. I feel like he's done a good job. He's been always like there. He's like always at all the, he's there. His DMs are open. He's there to answer questions. I feel like he's done a good job. And, it'll be interesting to see the 2 other new folks that got in. I thought all 5 that were in the finals were really, quality people that had some really great backing. And so my biggest takeaway, and then I'll throw it to you guys. I just hope those people stay involved, even if you didn't get voted on. If you put your name into any position, please stay involved. There's ways to be involved at a still super impactful level, and so we'll see where that goes. Mr. Bryce, what's your takeaway overall in just ApeCoin, I guess, business as a whole, not even necessarily just the elections?
Yeah, I mean, I think you kind of touched on it, right? For people that don't hold a large amount, it feels like, what kind of contribution can you really make? And who knows, right? I mean, I guess we'll kind of see, but it definitely currently feels like if you're, have the favor of those top 3 holders or delegators, then you're good. And if you don't, well, then better luck next time.
A slap on the ass and maybe come back for another idea. Whoa. Will is
Low crotch job.
now he was about to say Merry Christmas to the whole fam. I would agree with that. I know Will's worried about lighting. He's worried about his laptop's about to fall on his lap. It's gonna literally be a laptop on his lap. Any takeaways there, Mr. Will, just from voting and what it like? I guess as someone that holds, some ape, but it's not like you have 5 million ape either. Do you feel like obligated, or do you like to vote, or where do you stand on just the voting process? Because again, we see these like massive wallets that can kind of throw around their weight.
Yeah, I'm pretty selective when it comes to voting. I do agree, though. It totally, if you're a small fry in the grand scheme of like millions of apes, kicking it back and forth with Machi and Mocha and the Horizon Labs venture and all those people that come in and drop some serious voting power at the end or even at the beginning, really. But I don't know. We've seen some community involvement trying to get people to delegate their ape, and that can definitely help amplify the voice of the people who may not want to show up and vote every single week. Right. But for the most part, though, I mean, we're getting the same outcome, right? Even if you're delegating that extra little bit, if you voted weekly versus if you delegate and that wallet votes weekly, it's the same net votes, right? So it doesn't do anything too special other than your vote will definitely land somewhere. So I don't know. I mean, I definitely encourage delegating if you have a group of people that you like strongly, believe that they will vote in what is aligned with what you would vote for. But at the same time, I don't know, you might want to hop ship at some point and be like, I want to vote for something else or disagree with how a delegate votes.
No, I'd agree with that. It definitely becomes interesting when you're voting with a large crew and you're kind of putting it in the hands of other people. That can be a little bit interesting. But I do want to start. And what's up, everybody? Appreciate you being here. If you've got thoughts, if you have questions, we're going to get into a lot of Legends of the Mara stuff. I have a couple takeaways because I've actually been more active. And believe it or not, I know, shocking, if you're more active, it actually is more fun. I know, fucking crazy. But I know that sounds wild. But over the last 48 hours, in all reality, I've just been more active and like realizing when my, powers are going to be back and ready to rock. And then I noticed the combo shit. I finally hit that because I hadn't been paying attention to it. Like, that's wild, right? We're in season 2. I had not even thought about it. And I was like, holy shit, that's a big difference. Like, you see all the freaking, damage you do. And you're like, damn, I've been missing out on that for how many weeks now? A little embarrassing, I will say. But we'll get into that. And before that, though, gents, man, we had this freaking absolute banger freaking trailer that came out, and we're gonna watch it right freaking now. Here,
that feels so long ago already.
It's at least 73 years ago. Here we go. Oh.
Dude, yeah.
I mean, come on.
That's so sick. So cool.
Absolutely love to see it. And then look, it's
Yo. I mean, come on. Like, literally turn me all the fucking way up for real, because that has everything. Like, as a audio person, right, a musician, the fucking track, dude. Like, the first time I heard it, I was like, I had goosebumps, dude. I know it sounds corny as hell, but it was like everything just like hit, just perfect. And you're like, that's not shocking at all to me. It's not like I'm surprised that they fucking killed it, but you're like, damn, dude, that was so fire. And like, again, some people on the timeline, they're like, damn, yeah, the trailer looks fucking dope, but hey, what's going to happen with the game now? Because again, every single time they've done these trailers, we've talked about this literally, I don't even know, like at least 100 times here. When freaking actual, like, I don't care if it's a fucking series, a movie, shorts, I don't really care, but when more of this? Because every time they've done it, it's just like chef's kiss every single time. Bryce, when we saw this drop, I mean, were you just in awe, and how many times did you watch it on repeat?
Dude, so many. And it's one of those, I would be so thrilled if they dropped like a mini series where it was like,
Yes,
you know,
dude.
a full like lore-based TV show with this kind of quality. Like, I just think it's so sick. And yeah, kind of my first thought instantly was back to like Vegas for the Azuki Follow the Rabbit little trailer. And I was like, this is just as sick IMO, if not maybe even cooler than what they had built. So granted, you know, slightly different styles and whatnot, but I was like, Yuga still just releasing quality shit.
Mr. Will, your takeaway. I'm sure, again, like majority of us, we loved it, but what was your takeaway?
Yeah, man. I mean, it gets you super hyped when you watch it, right? And that's a big win in my opinion. I mean, like currently with Yuga Gaming, they're like in a hole. We need to dig out of this negative sentiment kind of like pit that we're in right now, and slowly kind of turn the corner and like have this new light shined upon all the gaming things that is in Yuga Labs. And so, you know, I'm excited to see how we get these rewards, how we get these catalysts, because that was one of the things that followed the video pretty quickly. It was saying, you know, hey, look, we're gonna reveal how to, you know, obtain these catalysts, because right now we've only seen 10 total, 5 from season 1 top tier or first place leaderboard positions, and then 5 more of the 1-of-1 catalyst for the season 2 leaderboard position. So then it's like, okay, are we going to have some kind of, you know, spray of catalyst across the leaderboard? Is there going to be quests similar to that of the participation quest that you needed to do in heavy metal to get the passive votes? Something like that, where you like accomplish something within Legends of the Mara season 2 to be able to get a catalyst? Is, you know, first of all, how is it a 1-to-1? Like, is every single Mara going to need a catalyst? Thus, there is, you know, essentially 100,000 catalysts or 200,000 catalysts, depending on whether or not you're a believer of the 200,000 deed supply discussion or not, and whether or not those actually come with Mara as well.
Right.
You know, that's speculation still. I mean, obviously, there's 200,000 that exists, but we don't need to get into that right now. But what I'm getting to is like, those are coming back in the form of rewards. There was an initial leak that was saying that the catalysts were going to be auctioned. That kind of rubbed some people the wrong way. I'm glad to see that, you know, for the most part, or from what we know right now, is those will be earned through the game. So, you know, the ball's in Yuga's court. Do something epic, make the people get engaged. And yeah, I mean, if you're not playing Legends of the Mara right now and you have deeds, you're definitely missing out. If you have codas and they're just sitting in a wallet and they're not even touching a deed, like,
what are you doing?
What are you doing? Like, you could easily be raking in rewards. And so I think, you know, some people were turned off completely by heavy metal. I think we'll turn the corner. The rewards will drop. There'll be excitement there. People will want to eventually also get these catalysts and turn the Mara into Kodamara, which look absolutely fire.
Looks so good.
And we'll have unique traits involved with them as well. You know, I think things are looking bright on the horizon for Yuga Labs. And if you get the on the horizon reference, that is in the blog post, there's the ship. So we're collecting ship parts. There's like a ship and it says on the horizon. Okay, anyways.
Hopefully soon. Hopefully that, yeah. Thank you for that, my guy. In case we weren't sure. Yeah, the Kodamaras, as we see here on screen, they look freaking fire. I love all the little freaking details, to be honest with you. If you had to choose one, which one is your favorite?
Dude, I can't. Like, there's something I like about every single type. Like, and they all just look really good.
I agree with that, dude.
Chomp as a definitely is pretty killer.
Bro, I think like the Jules Hunter is pretty sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jules Hunter.
I mean, honestly, dude, it's like
any of them are super cool.
That's the thing. It's like, please let this be something that I can attain. Just, you know, being active, of course. And it's not like I should be able to do nothing and just all of a sudden get a bag of these dropped on my head. But if I'm active, please just let me attain them, because the freaking trailer, and then you see this art and you're like, dude, this looks so fucking badass. So again, I think go ahead, Bryce.
No doubt, I think they look better than any of the other, like, just base Mara. So I think there is, like, you know, some incentive just from an aesthetic wise to use that catalyst and get your Kodamar.
Sure. I agree, dude. And again, they're so detailed, but sometimes, you know, you look and you're like, well, it's too detailed. These to me are like, again, they're like fucking perfect, honestly. Another thing that I want to just touch on, and then we'll talk a little bit about, I see a comment talking BAYC merch, and I had an update on that actually over the weekend. That was a shocker. But what are our thoughts that I'm forgetting his name now? It's something that's Citron, who used to work for Yuga Labs. He had done that trailer, and this was like 6 months ago. That to me actually was like bullish as hell to me, because like, again, not that, again, we shouldn't be surprised that they're, you know, obviously, you know, working a ways ahead of schedule. But to think like they had that shit done 6 months ago, and he said like, this was my last, you know, major work that I did with Yuga Labs, and I was kind of going back and forth with him, just saying like, dude, this is fucking awesome. And he was talking about obviously how the music fit and everything, but that little tiny bit of like extra bull for me, at least, maybe that's just a me thing, but I felt like, okay, they've got this thing rolling, they've got plans, because there's times you watch the timeline too much. You'd be convinced that Yuga has no clue what they're doing. They're just pulling shit out of their ass like a day before they release it. And that's simply not true. And it's just, again, not that we needed it, but I thought it was an interesting comment from him for sure. So
yeah, I definitely agree there, because we've had our fair share of conversations when we're like, all right, Yuga's been way too quiet. What are they even fucking building? Right.
Yeah.
And all like here, that's one of the things.
Yep.
So that's also where I go back to, I'm like, okay, the silence in the bear kind of makes sense, right? Because if they had announced that 6 months ago, like, hey, we're working up a trailer, and that's what came out, like, we probably all would have been hyped up about it for 6 months. Then we would have been like, oh, that's it. But
Agreed.
Instead of silence and all of a sudden it's dropped on us, now it's like, oh, dang, that's pretty sick.
And it does feel like these trailers, like they do lead to something that's relatively quick. I'm not saying tomorrow or even like this week, but I feel like if I was guessing, this is just complete guess, speculation completely, I think they're going to get through the holiday season, and maybe there's a little more information drop, but I don't think they're going to like go ham right now, just because, I mean, I think at least they realize that there's a lot of people traveling. There's a lot of people that, I mean, we're all obviously still obsessed with the space. We're still going to be here. But at the end of the day, for these next like 2 weeks, basically, I don't know. Like, I would be kind of shocked if they dropped like a massive, you know, update or a bunch of information. Maybe it's lighter on the information, but I do believe January 2024, we fucking push go. And it's like, all right, here we go. Like, we got other side, you know, some experiences there. We got some more Legends of the Mar updates. Maybe we get to find out these friends, how we can bring them in, and what does that look like. Like, I think all of that's coming, but it's going to be
hopefully a bullish market on top of it.
Yeah, dude, for sure.
That would be very nice.
It definitely feels like that's the way it's going. So I'm excited. And we are going to go back to Legends of the Mar. I do want to touch on this briefly because I see the comment, hey, yo, everyone get BAYC merch. I finally got my jacket ordered. So there's an update there on Saturday. The BAYC, we talked about it last Wednesday. They did the in real life stores, which it looked like there was massive turnout on some of those stores, which is super cool because those are not all Yuga Labs maxis. And also online. It went live, and I was at basketball practice. And I was like, I'm gonna see if I can get the shoes, and I missed out. And I was like, all right, I was like, okay, fine, I guess. It's kind of sad, but okay, dude. And then Sunday, for whatever reason, I still had the tab like open, and it was just random. It was completely random. I refreshed it one time because like, let me look and see if I want like another shirt because there's some stuff that's still available. And also I'm like, wait, I did a triple take because the shoes were back in stock, and I like clicked on them. I didn't even go fast for a second. I like clicked on them. I clicked on my size, and I was like, well, I guess I can just try. Long story short is I fucking copped the shoes, and I got the confirmation that they were actually shipped. Some people I know, like obviously I put it in some of our group chats, and I was like, hey, I think this is good to go. Like I got an order through, of course, and some people got theirs canceled. I thought mine might, but I actually got the shipped or whatever fucking update on that a day or two ago. So super lucky for sure. Complete dumb luck. Like I was not sitting on Bape for 24 hours just refreshing every 30 seconds. It was my one refresh randomly when I was like sitting with my kids, and I was like, wait a second, this is strange. They populated again. So dude, if you got the jacket is A+, like super awesome, just a dope piece. I spent entirely too much on the merch, but such is life. I love the merch. I love the support. Yuga Labs, and now I'll just chill, and I'm not expecting any merch here, I would assume, for a while. I did
we're about to have the surprise holiday drop coming up.
Oh God. Yeah, it's gonna be a holiday man thong ape print.
All right, but quick question for you, Phil. Are you a wearer of the shoes or a displayer of the shoes?
That is a great question. I am a shoe maxi. I have a shoe closet that probably has more shoes than my wife. That's a great question, honestly. I got a 12. I usually wear an 11 and a half, and I'm not really sure. Like I've never worn Bape shoes in my life. So we'll see how they fit. I'll probably put them on. And then if I feel like I can rock them, I'm really good with shoes, but if I can feel like I can rock them, I'll wear them occasionally. Otherwise, I'm cool with just putting them on ice too. Like I don't have to wear them. I'd kind of like to, but we'll see. For sure. I also did an unboxing, and I'm not a smoker. Like I smoke cigars once in a blue moon. This thing is fire though. Like,
yeah,
dude, I can like,
I can
put my keys, my ring, whatever, like watch, etc. I would say A+ to that. I like the receipt t-shirt. It's fun. The hat is way larger than I thought it would be. I have a massive cranium, and it fits perfectly. So that's a tip of the cap to you guys. But okay, I kind of teased this at the beginning, and I know it's kind of like a dull moment, but I will say honestly, it's probably been the last 36 hours, maybe 48. I've been more aware and active on Legends of Mara, and naturally it's become more fun because I know, shocker here, your damage, it goes much faster when you're actually paying attention and trying to make sure that your moves actually continue to ramp up as they wear out, or regain their power, etc. I've used some mist too, not a crazy amount, but occasionally if I'm like, oh, there's like 30 minutes left, okay, fine, whatever it is, 7 mist, 10 mist, whatever that is. What are your thoughts here, season 2? I know you guys have been pretty active. How is it going? How are your plays stacking up? Where are you at in the leaderboard? Any alpha or any takeaways here, season 2 Legends of the Mara?
You're falling into the rabbit hole. You'll love to see it.
Next up, Phil sweeping Kodas.
I don't have any liquid, but I would if I did.
Floors both apes, full Kodamaxi. I will transfer you the Kodamaxi.eth ENS. It'll be yours. No, but man, like once you start figuring out like your jam, and you're like, oh yeah, this makes sense. Like I'm gonna spend a little mist here, and I'm gonna spend a little mist there, and like, oh, if I can do this boost that lasts 7 hours or 5 hours or whatever it is, if you have a Mara, some of the attack speed buff, attack damage buff, like those do some serious damage, and they last 5 hours if you have a Mara, 7.5 hours if you have a Coda or a weapon Coda or a mega Coda. And so those things, definitely get you down the board a lot faster. It's not like farming where you set it and forget it. You do kind of have to like pay attention a little bit. You do have to log in pretty much daily. And I kind of try and make it like a habit. Like, most things, they have a cooldown of like 20 hours. So if you always log in at 6 o'clock every day, you can just run through, just boop, 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 like update all of your things, re-up those boosts, make sure those fighters are going ham, and then you're good to go.
Yeah.
So, you know, some things that I'm kind of thinking towards though for this season is like, I don't want to spend mist on things that I don't think are worth it. So like if I have multiple hunters on one deed, I like to maybe use mist to boost some of those, whether it's Kodas or Mara, because then it's affecting every single hunter on that deed. Whereas if you're doing like solo tier 1 deeds, you know, it starts to feel like more of a burden. Like, I don't know if you're really getting that much bang for your buck when you're paying mist. So like, you get what I'm saying? Like if you're on a tier 4, you use a Koda boost, maybe it's weekend. That helps everybody on the playing field versus just the one Koda if it's on a tier 1 deed. So that's kind of some of the stuff that I'm thinking about. But yeah, I mean, glad to hear that you are spending some mist and you know, really getting in there and re-upping your abilities so you keep hopefully dealing some mega damage.
That's the key, and I'll throw it to you, Bryce. I also, even for the first time ever, again, I know, shocker, I moved a Koda because I'd been using him as like an enchanter with farming because I was just trying to collect as much. Again, I don't have a massive bag, but I was trying to collect as much sediment. And I said, all right, time to throw in the motherfucking LeBron James here. He's got the weapon, he's got weaken and firestorm, and having that shit and using some mist to ramp that up, you know, it's impacted it more than I realized it would, if I'm being honest with you. And so this is my call to anyone watching this on replay, watching it live. Yo, just be sort of active and just check the timers. Again, it's not like you're having to check every 30 minutes. It's not like you're having to check every 5 minutes. Just look at the timer, take a look at your daily schedule. And like Will just said, find times that work for you. And for me, it's like when I wake up early in the morning before I'd go to school, I freaking let it rip. And then usually it's like right after school, I'm getting back on, depending, maybe if it was lunch break, depends on the day, of course, but find that like schedule that works for you. And I promise you, you will not be disappointed because it is more fun when you see it go faster. You start to figure out, again, like you just said, you figure out the flow, you figure out what works for you, you figure out what some of these damage actually does and how it does impact. And you actually start thinking about it rather than being like, oh, fuck it, I did my, all right, fine, I hit him one time today, I'll come back. And again, this is crazy. I had not seen the combo in action until yesterday, or maybe it was even this morning, because I'd never like taken the, I was like, okay, whatever, like, oh, okay, I see it goes up a little bit, but then I'd always like not check it in time. And now I'm like, shit, I got to get that combo every time now. Like it feels like once you hit it once, you're like addicted to that shit because you see all the damage it rips off and you're like, dude, I can't miss the combo now. Bro. Yeah, for 100%. Real. Bryce.
Yeah, full transparency, I am still just straight farming. I've got one deed with like a legendary and an epic hunter on there on a tier 2 that I think should defeat it in time. So I'll get a master chest there. But I will be making the switch soon to some more hunting. But yeah, right now farming passively. I've gotten really into the Solana shitcoin casino.
Dude. Dog with hat Maxi, bro. This guy.
I know. I saw this motherfucker change his PFP. I was like, what the
swing trading the fuck out of it. And it's pretty fun. It's actually a lot of fun.
He took 2 soul into 2 million souls. Pretty impressive.
Just DM me for tips and tricks.
Okay. We're DM the dog with hat for all the intel. I do want to go back and talk a little bit more Yuga Labs gaming, but another thing that just came out, and we were talking about it a little bit in the DMs. If you hadn't seen it yet, the Mutant Mutter is live in Kara's garage. And as of this evening, she pushed out a little update. And we're going to talk about our thoughts on it. I've got some, and I know these dudes do as well. So if you haven't seen it, this is the Mutant Mutter. It looks freaking badass. You can check out more of the pictures on Bored Ape's Twitter, of course, or X account. And then she posted at 7 o'clock this evening, Yuga Labs surgically implanted a chip into the Mutant Mutter that lets you claim an NFT. Tap the MAYC logo on the front grill, insert your ETH address, claim one of 1,000 editions of the official Mutant Mutter co-op. Here's how you can get one without coming over. And then she goes into it, and basically on the 23rd, she's going to have these for sale. I will drop an ETH address and it'll be $33.33 for 1,000 of these POAPs, limit 1 per address. So this picture looks dope as hell. Obviously, the teeth on it. The car looks awesome. It looks fun. What are our thoughts on selling the POAP, 1,000 of them, POAP, for $33.33, which equates to like 33 grand?
Easy money.
Yeah,
for
I mean,
her.
so the funny thing is like if you were to ever mint that from whatever blockchain POAP sits on, or you know, because they're like not on ETH mainnet. You have to mint them to ETH, right? So then that transaction alone would be more than $33, which is kind of funny. More than likely more than $33. I forget if they have a fee still or not, or what change happened there, but there was a point in time when like you could like mint some of the ones that Xcopy put out, and you could like bring them over and then sell them for an ETH or two, back when that was kind of popping off and hype. But then there was like a point in time when it was like, oh, it's no longer it's more of a risk to mint it now because it cost extra to mint it to your ETH wallet, so you could like view it with the rest of your NFTs. I don't know. It's interesting to go through and sell it in this fashion. The whole send ETH to a wallet kind of vibe seems strange. I don't know why she wouldn't just maybe make like a manifold page, and you can like buy an NFT that is the picture first, and then like she can airdrop the POAP to the holders of said picture. Do a little 2-for-1. You know, I don't know. Maybe not. But are you buying one?
I don't know, dude. I really don't know. I'm gonna say no. I don't think I will.
Like, I think it's dope. I think the idea was for like, you know, if you're out in the wild and you see it, to like claim your POAP. I'm not sure it was really anticipated to be like, hey,
I'm fairly certain
grand just
there's
just
no
for
way
getting
that's what
the car too. So yeah, no. I mean, I personally will not, because I don't really care for it. I don't think it's gonna like, you know, all of a sudden double or triple in value anytime.
If we were in a raging NFT bull market and like everybody was super hyped about BAYC at this current point in time and not bitching about, we don't have a utility or whatever the heck, then perhaps it would be an instant sellout. I think there will definitely be some buys, of course,
for sure.
If she teases any sort of like hint of utility, then maybe they fly off the shelf. But then she would actually have to do something. And I don't know. She kind of not entirely sure if she wants to do something.
Yeah, I don't think so personally, but
she could have thrown a barbecue event or something. I mean, that would have been kind of fun.
Sure, there's all kinds of cool things you could do. I don't love it. I mean, I don't like. I get it. Like if I had it, would I? I don't think I would sell them though. If I'm being honest with you, that sounds like, oh sure, Phil, you're on a fucking stream and you're trying to be fucking holier than thou. I just feel like
Phil, you can do it.
Just do it.
I just feel like it'd be way more fun to drive that motherfucker around and then tell people about, hey, here's a POAP that you or whatever, you know, this.
Yeah, right. Use it as like an onboarding tool, not a.
Like, I just think that would be cool.
But you know, if I was in a position, had 1,000 Yuga NFTs that were specific to a car I won, shit, I'd try and sell them for 33 grand too.
I will also sell mutant related POAPs if you did not mint a POAP during the mutant mint.
Hey, we've got them coming. Don't you? Come on. Another thing that happened over the weekend, and this was like the opposite end of the spectrum. More like nightmare status, and I'm going to this because I see Anthony talking about the Grid Lattice Plus, which is a wallet that I've had for a long time actually, but I only used it for some art, and I think I'm actually gonna transition it to be my main cold wallet now, just because I do like the interface, and some of Ledger shit has been kind of fucking whack recently. So we had Ledger, the Ledger fucking massacre, and then right after that we had NFT Trader. Oh, you forgot to take away your permissions. Oh, there goes your motherfucking apes, brothers and sisters. GG. But there was really, luckily, a good ending to this story. These people are so freaking lucky that this hacker, I mean, they still made some bank, but they could have just floored out every one of these bitches instantly, and they didn't. They held them, and they were writing back and forth and basically saying 3 ETH for every monkey JPEG picture, and I will send it back. And Boring Security, along with Yuga Labs, obviously quit, who now works for Yuga, is on Boring Security team as well. They basically talked to this woman hacker, and at the end of the day, they were able to retrieve all 36 BAYC and 18 MAYC that they had, and they're in their possession, and they sent that 10% of the floor price of the collections as bounty. So that could have ended much more poorly. It was still a really shitty 48 hours because you had the ledger thing, you had this, and then you had fucking flooring protocol, and it was like that was shitty too because that person just dumped them. And so you had this, over a 24, 48 hour time frame. You had all the security talk, and in every space you'd go in, oh, security, it's super important. And you had people posting about it, and you had people hosting streams, and you had people posting articles. And here's what I want to say just briefly is security is always sexy. It's cool to actually, I don't know, maybe be able to keep your assets and not fucking lose them. That's a cool thing. And so if you need more training, which by the way, all of us could use some, go to Boring Security, check out their Discord, and sign up for one of their classes. I've done the 101 class. I need to go back in and do the second class. I did it months ago, and I knew a lot of it, but I still learned some stuff. It was beneficial for me just to get a refresher for sure. Because when you listen to people talk about security, you actually quickly realize how much they actually don't know. One of the things
and how much you really don't know.
Oh yeah, and me too. When I start listening to people that actually work in security and in crypto and Web3, I'm like, dude, these dudes are fucking G's. But one of the things that I think was a common thing that I heard on a lot of big spaces, oh yeah, just make sure you go into MetaMask, and these are from non-security experts, by the way. Just go into MetaMask and go to the connected sites. Make sure you unconnect them, and then you're good. And you're like, no, motherfucker, that is not it at all.
Yeah,
no, you're still fucking. If you still approved it, guess what, playa? You're still fucking there. So I would just say all the flowers to Boring Security. Their classes are worth it. They're free, and you can get a freaking ledger for free. Now, granted, Ledger, they're kind of in hot water or whatever. They've had some statements over the last 24 hours as well. We'll see where that leads. Wallet Guard, if you haven't checked them out, you freaking should. Wallet Guard is super easy. I've tested it out on my my PC in the office. This one right here I'm talking on. Super easy. Browser extension, and it'll tell you exactly. It'll make it in plain English because sometimes, a lot of the time, the things you're signing, you can't read that shit, and neither can I. So get this extension, check it out. They're going to tell you if it looks like it's malicious. And if it says you import this and it takes the XYZ, it'll tell it in plain English. It won't make you read some crazy ass, long ass text. So shout out to Wallet Guard. Shout out to freaking Boring Security. Security is always sexy. Brush up on that. Yeah, Anthony, I agree. The grid plus lattice plus, I need to do some sort of video breakdown because it is really cool. And I think it's a good option. There are a few of them, and Ledger, of course, being one. I've got a Ledger, I've got a Grid Plus, and there are others as well. So thoughts on security, thoughts on the exploit, on really 3 different things. It was almost like 3 strikes, you're out.
Yeah, I mean, I think you kind of nailed it, right? Safe is sexy, right? Being able to actually, at the end of the day, own your assets and know they're not going anywhere. Pretty nice. Yeah. We'll say, the NFT Trader one, it's not like people rushed and clicked a spam link or anything. So I can definitely understand some of the worry and fear there for people that are like, wait, this was a transaction from 2 years ago. So if anything, it's just a good reminder of, you're never
revoke all of your shit on a cold wallet.
Go to revoke sites and whatnot. You're never truly safe. So
if you are connecting is not a cold wallet, 100%. And shout out to revoke.cash. They're great. Go there, check out. If you've got a cold wallet that you actually want to be completely cold, set up a delegate wallet. It's so freaking easy to do. It's so easy to do. And there's multiple options now that work great. Go do that. Then go to your freaking cold wallet. Fucking get off of all that. Revoke permissions and call it a fucking day. Sleep easier at night. A couple other... For real, though. A couple other quick notes on just Yuga Labs stuff I did want to share because we do love apes, and we do love when Gordon, of course, posts a nice little picture with Jane What's up, Jane? We love Jane. Anyone that maybe you've lived under a rock for the last 2-3 years. ApeCoin, I can't remember how many million it was, but it was a lot. It was a very substantial amount donated to their Jane Goodall Foundation. Obviously, she's been a massive proponent of chimpanzee and ape love around the world. So we love seeing Gordon on the timeline. We love being reminded that, you know what, apes do good as well. It's not just all about, they were degenerates for sure, but we also can support some fucking fellow monkeys and stuffed animals. Apparently, that's a iconic stuffed animal, I'm told. Did you get your? I think you did, Will and Bryce. I'm not sure you ordered it. Did you get your Punks art piece in?
Yeah, I did. I got it in, and it is incredible.
Yes.
My box came absolutely busted up, though. I was like, I swear, if this thing is damaged in any way, I'm gonna be so aggravated. But no.
Right.
The FedEx lady handed me the box, and she said, "Oh, by the way, this just fell out of it." And it was the proof of authenticity. So you know, so, just minor detail. I might need it.
You might.
So, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I cracked it open and took a look, and holy crap, the pictures online just don't do it justice. Like, you don't understand the scale of what you're looking at. Everything's tiny. I mean, it's super cool. It's not like you're looking at like big pictures of punks. Like, these are itty bitty punks.
Yeah,
literally little itty
bitty.
bitty.
Cool.
It is super cool. I'm very glad that I purchased one. Bryce, did you end up getting one? I don't remember.
I did not. At the time when the sale was happening, it was one of those, I was in like I want to make money, and this was like something like half an ETH at the time, and I was like, can I really justify, like, at my age, dropping half an ETH on this artwork that I don't even own like an NFT for? Like, it would just came down to, I was like, it really doesn't make sense. But one day when I own a punk, I'm gonna look back and wish I had one.
You'll have to pay me like 20 ETH for the picture.
$20. Smack on the butt
to look at it. But
yeah, that's right. We're gonna set up where you can just look at it digitally. You can't even come into the room it's in. You just see it digitally. We're going back and forth, digital versus physical.
Yeah, like half.
I did have per picture that or selfie. Half an ETH per selfie. Yeah, that's right. Another little Yuga Labs update from 10K TF. I don't know if you all saw this. This was on Thursday. I'm going to go ahead and play this video with some rare screenshot imagery. All right, so thoughts on that? Had you seen it first off?
I had, yeah. Overall, I mean, if that's going to be their PFPs, I think they're pretty sick looking avatars.
Agreed. Will, what's your takeaway on the video?
Oh man, absolutely love the what is this? The acid Kraken.
Yeah,
I don't know, but that color scheme is sick.
I mean, it's pretty solid.
Popping.
Curious to see where they go with this collection, right? I mean, obviously they're tying into other side elements, and then you know, brand new set of characters. I'll be curious to see what their role is, how they you know, play into the other side. Is this another set of 3D playable characters that people will eventually be able to run around as? I mean, it'd be pretty freaking cool running around as the Acid Kraken. I'm just saying.
For real.
I agree. Fairy lady.
Yeah, dude, fuck you up. I stopped here. I mean, naturally, because we love the Acid Kraken.
Just a cool trait.
Don't you find that interesting, though? Not surprising, because we've talked about obviously them transitioning into being, you know, their storyline taking place in other side. But what are your takeaways with them being? I mean, this is land-based trait. Like, do we think any speculation there? I guess is what I'll say, because that was the one that popped out where people are like, whoa, that looks like, I mean, that's definitely the acid land. What does it all mean? Or do we just think it's a cool trait and they went with it? What are your takeaways there?
My guess is cool trait, but I'll be honest, I haven't really dove in deep into the 10KTF speculation in a hot minute.
It's been a minute for me too. Will, any thoughts on land-based traits and tying into other side? What about land being airdropped to 10KTF holders? They've been holding out hope, and I am also a 10KTF holder, so I can say that about myself. Holding out hope that they're going to get those other land parcels.
You know, that would that's something.
Something.
I don't know if it's something I'd put a lot of eggs in a basket for, but I mean, you know, I don't know. I definitely feel like there will be a time where the most obvious play here is that every single deed will be able to claim a second side of the deed or a second deed itself. I don't know. It just comes down to, I mean, it could be people that are participating, right, inside the LOTM stuff. Obviously, you're not going to be able to get or be a part of an airdrop of these other deeds necessarily if you're stuck on the OG collection contract. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how they define builders, because I'm pretty sure that's kind of like the terms that were used to determine whether or not you were going to be able to participate in the other 100,000 deeds.
The other side of these other side. Yeah, Valerie, definitely the color schemes matching other deeds. It's definitely interesting is what I'll say. I wouldn't say curious, but definitely interesting, but also not surprising, because they really are trying to, and they're going to do their damnedest. Like, I truly believe 10KTF long run, it's going to be awesome that they're more tied in with other side. I really do. Like, I think other side is going to slap, and I think 10KTF is going to be right there freaking balling with them. And so we'll see what that means at the end of the day, but I found it interesting. I do like the acid Kraken. One other bit of news, and then we can talk market. We can talk whatever you guys want to wrap with. I thought this was interesting, coming from Mr. Quit himself. What a dope individual. Works on Yuga's team, and he had this thread that, I mean, it's about punks, but at the end of the day, a peek into maybe what's coming as a possibility for apes. I don't know. We'll see. So basically, I'll do the TLDR here, but last week you could finalize a series of interconnected contracts, and it's all about new possibilities across our projects. That's interesting because, again, then he goes and focuses on punks, but I think that's important to realize. He said across our projects, all of them. Start simple, but they're designed to allow evolution over time. Your stash, which we'll get into that here in a second with some of the code that people had seen about those potential auctions and the stash. First unlocks are for punks. No surprise there, I would say, I guess. They're the OG collection. And talking about basically wrapping these punks so that they can be sold across numerous marketplaces. Royalties are still at 0%, which I think is important. It's not like Yuga said, we're going to do this work and we're going to slap 5% on it and just rake in money. They could have done that. They did not. Would love your takeaways on that here in a second. But basically, that was one of the things that they're doing here. 0 royalties. Oh, yeah, moving on. That was quick. Easy identify address with 14 leading zeros in line with Seaport and delegate XYZ. Aside from looking pretty, the zeros result in small gas savings on every marketplace sale. Punks deserve that much. And then he's talking about it's immutable, permissionless, efficient, and leverages the Larva Labs Punks data contract from 2021 for fully on-chain metadata. And then again, gives shouts out to some different people. Shows some of the functionality here. No more lost punks. That's super important as well. The first time you wrap, it'll just happen if needed. You can also unwrap as well. So you can wrap all your CryptoPunks in one transaction. You can unwrap them all in one transaction. That's dope. Love to see it. And they've launched a supporting interface to aid in wrapping and unwrapping, which is also important because one of the biggest things when we started talking, we've talked about that on the show here on Board TV, is like, oh man, what if they make, Bored Apes wrap for XYZ? Or it's like, dude, that's a pain in the ass. It's awful. Well, this will be interesting to see how this works. If it's, sleek, which I assume it will be. I just think I just think it's smart, and we'll see again. We'll see. This is like the first little announcement here from Quit, because he has been working there, I think, for 6 months. And again, he says this is only the start. The team and I have already kicked around so many other ideas, and I expect even more ideas will come from the community. Your stash will evolve and improve over time if you want it to. That's important as well. If you want it to, it'll not be something that's force fed down your throat, which I think is important. What are your takeaways on, again, I didn't read it all, but the little thread that Mr. Quit and obviously the CryptoPunks community and Yuga Labs put out today?
You know, I was waiting until he was going to say something. I was going to cut him off.
Well, yes, that's why I think.
Yeah, okay, great.
Got him.
Basically, I mean, I don't know, right? So current functionality, you can wrap the punks, and from my understanding is that this is at this moment in time the feature of wrapping the punks to this stash. It is essentially the same as the current wrapped punks contract, but it's got twists to it that have yet to be revealed. Correct. And so I'm not entirely sure what the team has cooking or why this is necessarily needed right now. But I would love to have my eyes open to the amazing things that this could lead to. I don't know where I'm going. Sorry, I'm still shaking up after trying to cut Bryce off, but basically
he's raving, folks. He's raving here on stream.
Sure he's raving. Yeah, no doubt. I mean, because we heard when wrapping was first kind of live that, you know, there was a couple people that maybe lost a punk or sent it to the burn address and whatnot. So I mean, you know, they're just streamlining a nice, easy process of being able to move your punks, you know, into this stash and then, you know, put them on different marketplaces and whatnot. But yeah, it's just one of those, still bullish. Yuga continuing to build and innovate, and, you know, not everything's going to be some massive drop or token or anything like that. So just nice to see that they're still pushing technology forward.
And I do actually think this could, down the line, depending on what they have cooking, it could be massive, right? Like, of course, we're not going to know it right now. This is just the first little bit of information that he's been able to, you know, push out on what him and the team have been working on. But I think over the next few weeks, definitely the next few months, as they start to actually unwrap their plans, we'll actually see a little bit more of why they believe this is necessary. Because again, I think it's important that it's for all collections.
This is the one thing I could point to that I feel like if I was going to look to a punk for an opinion, I think Punk's OTC kind of hits it on the head right here. I think this will be the beginning of Punks becoming the most important NFT FI assets, right? So obviously, the Punks contract itself can't do much, can't interface with any of the current marketplaces, certainly can't interface with what Yuga and Magic Eden would have cooking up without being wrapped. So, you know, I don't know what new unlocks this has, but at least we kind of cut out the possibility that you screw it up and burn a punk. So,
yep,
big W.
I think a lot of this will have to do with that Magic Eden marketplace. I think this is just like some of the things they had to do before, you know, having that version 1 launch of whatever that is. And who knows, again, like, I'm not going to sit here and speculate all night on what that looks like. We've talked about it a few different times. I think it's tough. I think it's very tough to make a decision, make a call on these things, because they impact a lot of people that have been really, a lot of them, staunch supporters of different collections that you've created. And so making that decision and pushing forward, it needs to be a great one. At the end of the day, they're still going to make it. Like, they are still the fucking team, right? They are still the owners, and it is a business for them. But I wouldn't say I'm nervous. I'm just anxious to see what that means, right? Like, I'm anxious to see what are they trying to do with Bored Ape and Mutant Ape specifically, because those are the collections that, of course, they could make, theoretically, you know, more money from royalties if they came up with a really great and clever way that felt rewarding for those that, you know, would transact on whatever this looks like. And I think this wrapper and some of this information from Quit today definitely, I think, gives a little bit of a peek into what they're thinking or looking towards, but we'll see. I don't know.
Something I would say, though, like, just things that I think of is like, oh, okay, so what would happen with apes in particular? Well, the first mechanism that would come to mind is like, okay, well, you can clearly see when the asset is wrapped and unwrapped on chain.
Yeah.
You could then start some sort of kind of like a mileage rewards program type thing within the community for having the asset wrapped, right?
Yeah.
To then kind of use that to be like a soft push for people to then trade those assets in the wrapped state. Do I like that idea? No, I don't like that idea, but especially because like what if I don't want to wrap it, then I don't earn my community reward miles or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So like it's yeah, I don't know. There's definitely different things that can come to mind of like how this might get utilized, but we'll see how the community reacts.
Well, it's all. I think a lot of it's in the incentivization that Yuga provides for their little marketplace, but who knows? We'll see.
Yep, I agree with that. I do think incentivizing, well, you just kind of stated that would suck if you weren't wrapping and you were just trading on Blur. Well, there you go. They just incentivize your ass to get on there and wrap it. So I don't know. Like, I think it's interesting. Doesn't mean everyone's going to be happy. No one's going to like.
Yeah, it's like how do you get the rewards? Is it just for having your asset wrapped and sitting there? Because then whenever it's time to sell, you just unwrap it, dump, and pay 0%. So it's tricky.
Right. I mean, yeah, there
makes no sense.
Who knows? Yeah, that's a big question mark. I'll be curious to see what happens there. And whenever we do get Magic Eden Marketplace in Q1 now, right? Q1. So that should be coming around the corner soon as well.
It'll be interesting for sure. As we wrap here, we're almost at the top of the hour. Any thoughts, takeaways on anything Legends of the Mara, the market in general? Obviously, Bryce, you've been messing in the soul streets, but have you looked at any NFT collections? If so, what are your thoughts on just the market overall, the sentiment?
Dude, apparently I don't know enough about what Mocha, the Mochaverse thing has got cooking over there. But that's something I need to look into. Someone was, I think it was Dilly, was doing a comparison of Ape utility and what Yuga could maybe do for Ape owners, and he was kind of tying in that Mochaverse has like all these access to these different communities and different different collections and different projects that are launching, so they get in on the ground floor of some of those things that could pop off and be some pretty hot projects to trade. And that's kind of like how the value gets accrued back to the Mochaverse NFT itself. So it's kind of like you own the NFT, you get access. The thing that would be interesting for apes, though, would be is if, okay, do we have some kind of spin up where apes now suddenly have access to get whitelists for different projects or token allocations of different things, or who knows what kind of opportunities could come our way as ape holders. But I don't know. We did see a little bit of that anyways without Yuga involvement. So I don't know. Thoughts all around. People are definitely hands bored right now. It's kind of what it seems like.
My thoughts on that are it's a little different in the fact that Animoca, aren't these like Animoca slightly related projects? Like they're like backers of things. So like, isn't that kind of in essence? Now they're getting more because they can, it's not just, it's not Animoca brands only doing it. So they're going to probably have more overall, but isn't that sort of like us getting airdrop mutant serums and getting airdrop to board kennel and getting airdrop token and like sort of the same thing? It's just they can do more, obviously, because again, it's not just like Yuga's not going to put out like 30 more collections, right? Like, because that would probably be very bad. So how do you align yourself, right? It's a little, I just think it's a bit different because you're talking about Animoca brands versus Yuga Labs and like, what does that look like? But not saying it's impossible, but how do you, is it like a Serum City type thing where it's like lightly tied sort of? It's interesting. It's an interesting thought, but a bit different.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think you got a little bit of quality control when you're releasing things that are kind of under your umbrella, but not directly under your umbrella. Versus like, if Yuga was going to do it and do non-Yuga umbrella projects for it, then, you know, it definitely opens up a degree of risk and other things like that. So do you want all that kind of stuff tied back to the brand? Who knows? Probably not.
Definitely interesting for sure. Shout out to Mochas, though. They definitely have been doing some dope things. There's some dope community members that I've met as well. I am going to throw this question up because we are arriving at the top of the hour. Then we'll get to Bryce on his last thoughts. But any theories on artifacts? Obviously, we're still not really sure on a lot of this, but when will they be decoupled? How much value? What is your value on artifacts specifically?
This goes back to, I mean, yeah, it's a big fat question mark, right? We had no clue when Kodas were going to be decoupled. We have no clue if this will be season 3, season 4, not related to LOTM at all. There's going to be a separate mini game that'll involve art. Like, who knows? I wouldn't say, I mean, as of right now, I don't think artifacts have just like an insanely high floor. So I imagine they'll still probably remain about the same, you know, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, however much ETH more than the floor they're going for.
I don't even think they're, some of them I don't even think are that much right now.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm sure some of them are probably a good buy, but I'm not speculating trading a ton on just artifacts.
Banana peel on, now I'm on OpenSea. I just pulled it up quickly because I was already there. There's a one. This is not decoupled, so you'd get a vessel as well. It's 0.04 over the floor is all.
Well, that's pretty good. I mean, on the expanded collection, I'm seeing 0.08 above the floor. So
yeah,
nothing crazy.
I mean, there's definitely some value still being held there. It's not as.
Are you bearish or bullish on them though? Bearish or bullish on artifacts though? Because like I feel like it's just very like speculative that I used to feel pretty good about them and now I'm not really sure.
The way I will start to feel about some of these things will heavily depend on the value of season 1 rewards. If fragments come out and they cook, if ship parts come out and they hold a hefty premium for the legendary ones, all the way down to even the common ones. If there's still some decent value to extract, well, in this case, if you're going to sell them, extract value from that that action of going in and defeating Shattered, then like, okay, then we can start to kind of maybe speculate a little bit more on how participants are going to price some of these other things, such as, you know, resources and those kind of things. But until then, it's still very much a big fat question mark. You can kind of do a little bit of comparison and be like, okay, well, there's 3 different tiers of shovels. You have the Coda, the Forged, and the Rugged. And so if you're like looking at shovels, you could kind of say like, well, okay, that's tier 1, tier 2, tier 3.
Yep.
Similar to how there's tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 sediment. And you could kind of suggest that, oh, maybe the top tier one, the Coda one, would produce some twice as much as the base regular pickaxe might produce, which would already be a good deal more than not having any pickaxe at all, or shovel or whatever.
That's fair. Yeah, who knows? That at the end of the day, it's still very hard to know anything. When other side where we can actually build, if you had a gun to your head, Bryce.
Q3
I'm not saying
2024.
Q3 2024.
Didn't they tell us it was going to be like an always on Q3 of this year?
But then
we'll just push it back a year.
Well, because if you think about it, Improbable and them like sort of looking like splitting and then Improbable like selling some of their shit, like it just feels all very odd, to be honest with you. So we'll see what that looks like. I'm just looking forward to, even if it's small events and other side where, you know, maybe it is just like, hey, you can, for this 12 hours, we're going to explore, you know, if you can come in and explore for a 30-minute, I don't know, like whatever that looks like. I'm just looking forward to something because shit, it feels like a long time. Now, granted, we should have all known that like building this fucking thing would have taken forever. But now we're sitting here and it's like, all right, let's just make sure we continue to have some experiences where we can at least see, even if we can just see some things, and maybe occasionally we get to, you know, be involved in small little pop-up things, etc. And maybe we can host one on Board TV where it's like, hey, you got 100 places that you can give out. You know, that would be dope. Like, why couldn't they do that to some of these like like people that are creating content, like that would be, I think, pretty easy for them, and just say like it's an invitation only, and you whatever, if it's 100, if it's 50, who gives a shit? But like, and you could do it anywhere around the world, and we host it on a board TV, we stream it, and people can jump in and play and have an experience. Like I think that could be really dope. So I'm still super bullish on the other side. I'm super bullish on Yuga as a whole, because again, you see the quality of team members. Like Quit is such a good dude and like high quality individual. Jeff Nicholas, shout out to freaking Jeff. This dude did a Q&A with my 8th grade design class for their final. When was that? Yesterday. So we had him on. Yeah, dude, like he didn't have to do that. And we were talking about business and entrepreneurship. And so he was able to take my 8th grade class through, some of his things that he's done in the space. And it was dope just to have him step out and do that. And shout out also to Jason, NFT Hoarder, because he was my other guest that I had. So these are people that are in the ape community. Community is cliche until they do shit like that for you. So shout out to them. I believe in the Yuga Labs team fully. I truly do. And I think, I do think 2024 is going to be even better, because I think they realized that there was definitely some hiccups, some stumbles along the way. In 2023, it started really fucking fast. Like felt like our fucking face was on fire with Dookie Dash and everything. And then it kind of just like felt like there was some mistakes made. And I think they've admitted as much. So I'm excited for 2024. I'm excited for the last couple board TV streams before the top of the year 2024. But any last thoughts, gents, before we call it an evening? Happy holidays, by the way. Happy fucking holidays to everybody. For real. Like, thank you for being here. Like, I appreciate y'all. Merry Christmas, happy holidays. Whatever you celebrate. I got some Christmas trees up in the house. Yeah, what's up, Wayne? We appreciate you coming through for real, but happy holidays, whatever you're doing. If you're traveling, happy travels. Obviously, Will's like, his eyes are barely awake because he's been fucking driving across the southern states.
Man's over here getting a combo on
oh yeah, excuse me.
This cat is literally always playing Legends of Mara. He's got one of those contact lenses that just is actually a screen. Right. He just blinks and it fucking shoots the shit.
Dude, okay.
Activate power up.
I don't want to say too much, but we definitely do a little bit of remoting into the desktop every once in a while too. I mean, you got to stay on top of it, So
the Cody Maxey within Will, Crampy G. Right. Thank you for coming through for real. Bryce, I'm gonna throw it to you. Any last thoughts here, sir?
Last thoughts. The year's almost over, and then we're in the year of an election year, happening in the Bitcoin cycle, potential ETF cycle. So I mean, it's just one of those. I don't know. 2024 seems like it could be a really good year for BMG Yuga Labs crypto overall. So
it's the year of the ape. That's pretty exciting.
Bro,
you might actually be dragon, but
that's all right. We're gonna
drag these nuts across your ape. Okay, sorry.
Okay.
Wow.
All your good fortune is out the fucking window. Kiss and goodbye.
Will, any last thoughts before we wrap the show?
Go freaking kill him, man. Get those shattered defeated.
Nice. And now we're all banned, Will. Thanks.
Great. Now we're banned from all the platforms.
Banned run too,
because I said freaking.
Actually, try to actually experience Legends of the Mara, because I can tell you, if you actually attempt and dip your toes in it, actually is a lot more fun. So as always, we're here every Wednesday, 9 p.m. EST. We enjoy talking all things Yuga Labs. We deeply appreciate it. Check us out on Instagram. Check us out on Twitch, on YouTube, on X. Hit us up in the DMs if you got questions. Hey, if you want to come through and talk at some point, we are happy to have guests come through and shoot the shit with us, because it makes it even more fun. We appreciate everybody that came through, threw out comments in the chat. Again, it helps us and it makes it even more enjoyable when y'all are here. So with that shit, it's been Phil, it's been Bryce, it's been Will. This is freaking Board TV, and we are out. Stay bored.
I hit record a drop, you can't ignore it. I'm transforming now these cars and planes, I'm always boarding. Just out touring down in Charlotte like I play for Hornets. When I'm performing, never boring, now you can't afford it. Champagne Perrier, Finnish friends on my face, looking like I'm from the deep. These no Cartiers, pockets deep, 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 bro. I can make it in my